And now, straight from the horse's mouth, our Neil Young News Report.
Smell the horse on this one.
With this week's update from ThrashersWheat.org, here's Thrasher.
Hey, Thrasher here with this week's Neil Young News, and the fresh wheat continues to roll in across the prairies up north in Canada. The Honor the Treaties tour rolls on. Kicked off earlier this week in Toronto at Massey Hall, and since gone on to Winnipeg and Regina, and we'll be wrapping up in Calgary on Sunday, tomorrow night, the 19th of January. So, lots of news. Just rolling back a little bit. Before the Honor the Treaties tour kicked off, Neil Young held a press conference at Toronto's historic Massey Hall. And at that press conference, Neil Young continued to make news about his position on the Alberta tar sands project, and naturally, lots and lots of controversy across Canada. In fact, some folks say that Neil Young has started an long overdue conversation about the tar sands and the environment in Canada. Well, it does seem as if that dialogue is ongoing, and if one has checked out the media up in Canada, the pundits, the news, and in particular the comments, a lot of attacks on Neil and his stand, and attacks more or less along the lines of what we see so often, where the attacks are on the messenger and not the message. A lot of folks, saying essentially that Neil Young really doesn't know what he's talking about. And for those of us who've been following Neil and the Linkvolt project over the years, certainly know that Neil has done a lot of homework around energy and vehicles, and with his Linkvolt and so on, the hybrid, and he's certainly trying to bring attention to this message. But anyway, apparently this has gotten the attention of the Prime Minister, Stephen Harper, up there, and even to the point where Neil has modified the lyrics to his song Pocahontas to now refer to Stephen Harper, Pocahontas and Me. So we'll leave that there for the moment, and we'll just go ahead and play you a clip here of an interview that Neil Young did with Gian Gomeshi on the Q program, where Neil talks about politics and music, certainly one of our favorite subjects around here. So here's that clip.
What about when they say you crossed the line? What about when they say, I like his music, but stay out of politics?
What line did I cross? Musicians should stay out of politics? Is that right? Is that somebody said that? So is that one of the is that a great Canadian belief? is that it? That your profession should be considered and weighed carefully when deciding whether you have freedom of speech? That just doesn't make sense to me. Those are ludicrous comments that have nothing to do with reality. Those are defensive maneuvers, deflecting the truth away from people's sense of what's going on. People should wonder, what am I up there for? What am I doing up there? What does it matter? Have I always written about and sung about what concerned me? From Ohio to Southern Man, to Rockin' in the Free World, to all of these crazy songs that I wrote about things that were going on, that people sang, that I sang, to all the things that I said. Are they saying that now, that those were all bebop-a-lula and I shouldn't talk about anything? Well, that's ridiculous.
Okay, so there you had the clip with Gian Gomeshi and Neil Young discussing politics and music. And anyway, Neil has been driving Linkvolt across Canada and been providing some reports on that over on his Facebook page. So check that out. And the set lists for the shows have been pretty much along the lines of what we heard up in Carnegie Hall last week. You can check set lists there on Sugar Mountain. Shout out there to our buddy Tom, and Rust Radio has been playing some streams. Shout out there to our buddies at Rust Radio and Roll. So thanks for all that, and we'll wrap up this week with a little bit of news on the European tour schedule with Crazy Horse this summer. Another new date has been announced. This one is for Tel Aviv, Israel on July 17th. And we would expect that more dates will continue to be fleshed out here in the coming weeks once the Honor to the Treaties tour wraps up, most likely. No more specific dates forthcoming just yet, but we did hear some possibly interesting rumors while we were up in New York last week. Some cities that Neil Young and Crazy Horse haven't played before, at least not that we think that we're aware of. So we'll have to see whether these sort of unusual locations in fact pan out, or whether they're just rumors. So stay tuned on that, and otherwise we'll wrap up here and throw it back to the studio with Tony and Eric at WBKM, and keep on rocking.